What's going on, guys? It's Will here, working yet again with Mr. America. Go to YouTube/Demand the Truth and YouTube/Auditing America. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. We're here at the New Hampshire State Prison. We're going to do a First Amendment audit, see if they respect our rights. Stay tuned. Let's see what happens. Right there.
Yep. Why would?
So can we just go up to the sign, or what? I'm gonna see what that's. I'm following you. I don't want to.
Let's stay right here because that's easy for them to say that we went into the property.
Here's that about every 15-20 feet or so they have some no trespassing signs. It's not even a sidewalk to walk in on that side of the street, so it's very difficult to access. And unfortunately, like the majority of prisons across the United States, 74% of people in the prisons are there for non-violent drug charges like marijuana. Meanwhile, there's some states, California, Colorado, Rhode Island, that are paying their bills with marijuana while people are still locked in cages for paying their bills with marijuana. So we really need to end the war on drugs. The government tried to do it before with prohibition. It didn't work, and it's not going to work again. All it has done is allowed the CIA to empower the cartels to enslave their people, and we need to end the drug war and get these innocent people out of jail. There's no victim, no crime, and you can see they're being moved around there.
Can you hold my light right here for a second? Let's get out of this.
So it looks like we have a couple of either officers or prison guards are across the street. We'll see if they'll make contact. We do see a large amount of activity in there right now. As you can see, there's actually a number of, if you look on the second to the top floor there, it looks probably like, what, the third floor. You see at least 4 inmates looking outside, and we definitely garnered some attention for sure. Let's see if they uphold our First Amendment right. You see him?
They're waving, yeah.
They're waving, man. They got no.
They're probably in there
They
innocently.
Yep. Well, like I just said, 74% of people that are in prison are there for non-violent drug charges. If there's no victim, there is no crime. They tried to make illegal unconstitutional laws before, and it didn't work. And the majority, 75% of the people that are there unconstitutionally for using a drug or having a drug. And like I said, meanwhile, the state is paying its bills with drug money. And
there's a lot of people in there for exercising their rights too.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about all the people that just can't afford a lawyer, you know? So it looks like we have some movement. Probably discuss how to handle us now.
This is actually the visitors' parking lot. We could have parked here. The inmates are very curious right now.
They've probably never seen anything like this, especially in an area like New Hampshire where it's rather remote.
Reception and diagnostic unit.
Now this guy's got his lights facing directly towards us, and the other car moved away. But he positioned himself directly to us to put his lights on us. So I'm actually surprised they haven't approached us, but we are not on the property. We can technically, it would be trespassing if we cross the street. So.
Yep.
But we definitely got the attention of not only the people that work here, but the inmates as well. So. Very surprised they didn't come and make contact with us.
They're probably doing their job, doing what they're supposed to do, is to, you know, mind your own fucking business. From that fence over here, it's called freedom.
We stopped at that little thing next to the forest area.
Talk about other facts that you know about prisons.
Sure. So another thing that a lot of people probably don't know is the 13th Amendment actually prohibits what's going on in here, which is indentured servitude or slavery. And we have another one of those gentlemen and a police officer right here driving by Concord Police. It prohibits slavery, but the 13th Amendment, if you go back and read that, it actually technically allows slavery for these people here. The people thought slavery ended, but slavery is still occurring for these people right here. Now, the United States, we have roughly 330 million people, our population, give or take, roughly. China has over 1 billion people, and we have more people in prison than China does. Land of the free? No, it's home of the slave. A lot of these places, not this one in particular, but a lot of these places, and I mean, even the people here too, they get free slave labor. Now, sure, nobody's whipping them, right? And I'm not comparing them exactly to the way slavery was, but now this is just a new way to legalize slavery. These people are illegally, unconstitutionally locked up there, for the most part, especially if they're nonviolent drug offenders. And we have more people in jail than China. So we need to completely change the way we do things. It's supposed to be people are sent here for rehabilitation. They're not doing a good job of rehabilitating anybody. As a matter of fact, it's the Department of Corrections. And that's not a great psychological way to reward people. We can see that nothing's happened. And the real criminals, they never end up there. The people that create the illegal wars, that lie to get us into these wars, that torture and traffic. It's very funny. I had John Kiriakou, CIA whistleblower, author, and award-winning journalist on my show. He was the one that blew the whistle that it was the CIA's policy to torture people. He exposed the fact that people were being tortured. Did Bush, did Cheney, did anybody in the military or the CIA that allowed the torture to occur go to jail? No, but the person who exposed it went to jail. And so if we were really being true to ourselves, we'd have all these nonviolent drug offenders out. We'd have far less people in jail than China. And we'd be putting the proper people in jail and doing our best to properly rehabilitate them. And one of the ways to do that is look at a magnitude of different ways to do that. And it's not just putting somebody in a cage and giving them crappy food every once in a while. So it looks like we may make contact here. Apparently, they're just pussyfooting around the situation, but they are making it known that they're here. But guess what? We're not doing anything wrong. We're expressing our First Amendment right. We have another. It looks. I can't tell because it is very dark here. Whether they're state police or whether they're correctional officers, because as Mr. America just said, we do have different facilities run by different entities. So we're not too sure. But this is the closest we've gotten with these folks here so far. And you can tell right now we have a number of inmates here taking notice. We have
right here, so I can zoom in.
Yep.
Hold my light. Let's walk towards him.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Are you a police officer? Are you a police officer?
Can you just turn that light down a little bit? It's right in my eyes. Thank you.
How are you? Are you a police officer?
I am not. I'm a corrections officer.
Oh, okay. No, we're just working on a story on the prison.
Okay.
Could you please tell me your name and your position?
And what's your story about? What exactly is it about the prison?
Well, I don't answer questions. I'm just working on a story.
Okay, then I don't answer questions either. My name is clearly marked on my shirt. I'm an officer for the state prison. Okay.
So you're a public employee, right?
I am.
Okay, so your job is to answer questions.
I've told you what my last name is, and that I'm an officer for the state.
Okay, cool. No problem. We're just working on a story on the prison over here in New Hampshire.
Okay. So
what can you tell us about it? Is there any...
Actually, hold on. So you're now on state property.
Okay.
So
which is public property. Where are the visitors parking, though?
Hold on. I understand. This is state property. It is clearly posted no trespassing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you gentlemen for some ID since you're on state property. And I'm perfectly within my rights to do so.
This is a I came over here to ask you a question. So I'm not trespassing. I'm just
okay. What is your business here? Hold on. You're here to do a story. I'm not going to answer any questions about stories. If you'd like to contact our public information officer during regular business hours, then they can answer all your questions, okay?
No problem. So we're going to go ahead and step out.
Absolutely. Have a good night, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, but what can you tell me? Well, I'll tell you. Can you come talk to me in a public area at least? So I'm not in state property, which is still public property because the state, we the taxpayers fund the state, right?
I understand that, sir.
And it says
business to be here.
Well, I do.
Okay. Are you here to visit somebody? Are you here to volunteer?
Well, I'm trying to stay in a publicly accessible area.
Of course.
I'm not trying to trespass for any reason.
Sure.
I'm working on a story. Okay. As the First Amendment protects freedom of the press, this makes it official business here right now.
Okay, so if you have questions for anybody representing the Department of Corrections, I'm going to recommend that you contact the public information officer Monday through Friday during their normal business hours.
Okay, now quick question. What gives you the right to ID somebody in the state of New Hampshire?
Because I'm a law enforcement officer, you're on state property, and I have every right to ask you to identify yourself. If you don't wish to identify yourself, then I ask you to leave state property.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, pretty much this is I'm still on state property because the sidewalk is also state property, isn't it?
This is the city of Concord. This is the state prison.
It's the same thing.
Now, it is not the same thing, sir.
State house. So if we were at the state house,
guys, I don't want to get into a debate with you.
Sure.
If you want to stay on the sidewalk, that's fine. But as soon as you come on state property, and you don't have official business, you're not going to be here visiting anybody or doing so. Please let me finish. Then I'm going to ask you to leave.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you want to stay on the sidewalk, that's your prerogative. That is up to the city of Concord.
We won't take any more of your time, but we planned on going to the state house tomorrow.
Okay.
So would we be necessarily ID'd upon, of course, to give our ID just by being on the state house property? How does that work?
The state house is different than the state prison. Okay.
Is it state property?
Hold on, sir. If you want to ask them questions, please feel free to contact either the warden, Michelle Edmark, or the commissioner, Helen Hanks. Okay? And they can have somebody answer all your questions, all right?
Thank you.
Okay, but you're a you're a prison guard. You're not a police officer, so right? He has no right to ID me in the visitor
parking lot, and we caught him in a conundrum right there. That's why I said you didn't want to debate anymore, because I politely asked the question. Well, if that's state property and the state house is state property and we pay for both, so you're just telling me they can just demand your ID on a whim without probable cause at the state house? So we're in a parking lot and they can demand our ID, and that's like in our parking lot.
Yep.
They want IDs for us, so.
All right, so let's get going.
All right, let's go. We got more.
Do the outro.
Okay. So guys, we just had an interaction with the correctional officers right here in New Hampshire State Prison. A lot of the inmates, they came out to look, and they wanted to subvert our Fourth Amendment for standing in a publicly accessible area, and they unlawfully were going to demand our identification. That's what they did in Nazi Germany. Papers, please, papers, please. But guess what? That's a publicly accessible area that we pay for in finance. So that would be illegal. But the reason why Mr. America does what he does is because there's a lot of good cops out there. And right on Mr. America's page, it says it's not a cop hating page. We just want to make sure the people that are given that badge, that very, very awesome responsibility, they do the right thing with it. So this is why we do this, because there's so many people who would just do tyrannical things like that. And I really want to say thank you to Mr. America for being very polite and cordial with these people, because with all the things he's dealt with and how many times his rights have been trampled on, he could have been less than cordial, but he was not. So thank you to Mr. America. If you guys haven't gone to my channel, it's called Demand the Truth. YouTube/Demand the Truth. Patreon Demand the Truth. Give me a like, share, and subscribe, please. I'd much appreciate it. I do the same thing as Enrique, but we do different things and we collaborate. And Enrique's got a whole bunch of awesome videos I'm sure you haven't seen. So go Auditing America, like, share, subscribe, and get the notifications. So go to Facebook and Instagram and check out Auditing America there too, and get in contact with us. So keep sharing these videos. It's the best way that you can help myself and Mr. America. Until next time, folks.